Hey guys, it's Captain Harris here with James just to do a little quick video because Iron Maiden released about 2 days ago the openers for the Future Past tour, and it is The Raven Age, which is what my friend group predicted, Chris specifically, and then Lord of the Lost, which is a little bit weird, but we'll get into that.
Well, the reason we expected Raven Age to pop up was because most of, if not all, of the shows in Europe are already sold out.
Or doing really, really well. So
the demand for Somewhere in Time is huge.
Yeah, so like lots of these shows sold out without needing any like opener to push more tickets or anything. So it's like, it was kind of expected that it would be like one of these bands. Like he's taken Lauren Harris out before, but like she's not really doing anything anymore. And Raven Age just signed onto a new label, so it would make sense.
So Raven Age for the third time, the third tour. So we first saw them in 2016.
Yeah.
And then we saw them in 2019.
New singer.
So do you think we're going to get a new third singer?
No. I think they've got their guy now. They were such a new band back then. But yeah, so two of our shows that we're doing are Raven Age and 6 are Lord of the Lost. And personally, I wish they were all Raven Age because Lord of the Lost really wasn't my flavor of opener.
We saw them in Zagreb once.
Yes, and I just like I've seen their social media posts like while they were touring with Maiden, just to kind of like you get behind the scenes and stuff, and they seem like really nice guys. We're really thankful to like do the tour and everything with Maiden, but they're just like I said, not really my flavor of opener.
I think they're fine, but Maiden's not known to bring out these heavy hitters anymore for opening bands.
It's just so hard to get something that hits right for everybody.
Nothing
before Maiden.
It's so hard to say who should open for Maiden, other than bands that you would think of like Anthrax or Megadeth, or just the ones that fit nicely.
Well, Kenny, not Kenny, Ken, our Tennessee friend, which he probably is watching this, so hi. He posted on the forum saying that he doesn't mind if it's a opening band he doesn't like because he tends to go into something called power saving mode before the band goes on. And I kind of get that too because it's like I want to use all my energy for those Maiden songs. So it's in a way I get it.
And we've experienced exerting ourselves in 2013 when we saw them for Made in England.
Was my second favorite band at the time, so I went crazy for Megadeth. And I remember standing there telling James it feels like we're supposed to go home now. It feels like that was a show, but we still have Maiden to see. So it is really cool when an opener will knock it out of the park for you. But
and that one did, but
rarely happens.
At least for the last decade, Maiden hasn't really pulled out other than Ghost in 2017. I'm really going back to Made in England when it was all bigger bands. We had Dream Theater, Megadeth, and Alice Cooper.
A lot of people weren't happy with Dream Theater though. That you would like that, but a lot of people were just they were so boring.
Oh, the songs are so long.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that's the thing. It's you're never really going to.
And then Maiden comes on, and they're the songs are too long.
That's true. We're never fucking happy, guys.
We're miserable all the time.
We're miserable, in fact, and you can see that on the forum because nobody is happy, apparently.
But anyway, so the reason we say it's strange that Lord of the Lost comes up again is because they just did a tour in Europe.
Yeah. So
this year.
I would understand if they were we really like touring with these guys, so we're gonna bring them on the next US tour and get some exposure there. But it's just wow, the next year, less than a year later, they're going back out with Lord of the Lost. So I don't know. I don't know what was behind that decision, but all the best to Lord of the Lost. I guess we'll be seeing them 6 times. So.
I mean, anything Maiden does now, I just assume they want to do that and they want to tour with these people. And with it being Somewhere in Time based, they don't need support.
No.
They don't need anybody to sell tickets.
Personally, I've always said this, I would love an evening with Iron Maiden where they just extend the set, what's it, an hour and 45 right now?
Yeah, just
extend it 15 minutes. Make it a 2-hour set. You start at 8, you end at 10. Everybody gets to go home in a decent hour. And we
all get Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Yeah, we all had, an extra couple songs on the Maiden set list, and, nothing between us going in the building and Iron Maiden. But yeah, I've always said, I'd love, an evening with Iron Maiden sort of setup.
It would be cool, and I think because Rush did that.
Yes.
And Rush
played a lot fucking longer than Maiden does. So
Rush had the same almost type of like fan base where the fans were rabid and they want to see Rush play everything that Rush has done, just like Maiden fans do with Maiden. So Maiden could definitely get away with a evening with Iron Maiden.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we see it now with these ticket sales. Nobody was buying tickets like, oh, gee, sure, I sure hope there's a good opener. I'm going to sell my tickets. It's like, no, they're going to play Somewhere in Time songs, so I'm going to be there, you know?
We know nobody's going to be buying tickets to see the Raven Age.
No.
So they're obviously just bringing this band on to put them in front of a large audience, and that's kind of what Raven Age has been based on. It's Iron Maiden has supplied them the audience,
and it's like I feel bad because like so many people, they're not a terrible band, and they're far from my least favorite opener that I've seen, but people are just like so like rude about that band because it's like, oh, it's just Nepotism, it's just Steve. It's like, yeah, I mean, like, can you blame him? He's being a dad.
like I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing if I was in his shoes, And he's done it with Lauren Harris.
And it's nice because, like, you think about it, too, and it's probably, like, it's a way for him to spend time with family on tour and everything. So
that's a good point. Like, it's, and especially if you were the dad who does music as a living and your son wants to follow in your footsteps, why wouldn't you facilitate that in some way?
So it's like, I don't blame him. I'm not, like, a Raven Age fan or anything. When we saw quite a few shows in 2019, I found them very normal flavor, not difficult to get through. Their songs, like within Temptation this year, like, all of their songs were so, like, the same tempo that the whole set list just felt like one plodding song to me.
And we got to compare it to the Trivium opener, and Trivium felt like it got through pretty quick.
Yeah, because they had like some variety in there, and that's what I found with like the Raven Ages. They at least had some like variety in like the way the set went. So like it went by pretty fast, and it wasn't like, oh, this is awful. Like I'll tell you right now, my least favorite opener we've ever had from Maiden has been Killswitch Engage. I know there's a lot of Killswitch fans out there. I just don't like that style of music, and I didn't think it felt like...
I don't think it just fit with Iron Maiden.
No.
We actually saw them open for Slipknot like a couple years later, and I thought it fit a lot nicer.
I wasn't like I'm still not a fan of them, but like having to listen to that before Maiden, no, that felt like a chore, whereas like the Raven Age really didn't, No. It was just like, oh... it's just something to watch while the band waits. And it's like, to be fair, they actually have made some fans. Like, I legitimately know people who like them, like, Green Hat Ken. But anyway.
They're good sports. They're a good band. Yeah. I think that the question everyone just has with them is, like, do they deserve to be here? And at this point, I mean, to be honest... We saw them so long ago now, like with Book of Souls, it's almost nostalgic to see Raven Age now open for Maiden.
I was actually kind of thinking that, like with the songs, I'm like, oh, it's going to feel like 2019.
Bring out the fireflies again.
Let's see your fireflies, and then I'm worrying.
And you can like count the songs as they go by, like, oh, we're almost there.
I was just saying, like on 2019 tour, like we were like, this is like Stockholm Syndrome. Like I'm sitting here like, I'm worrying.
But that's like the technique of all music. It's like just play it enough times until they have it in their head, and then they'll be fans.
It's like Fozzy.
That's what happened with Fozzy.
As far as who deserves to like open for Maiden, it's very subjective because it's like I posted on the forum, like, there's bands that I feel deserve to open for them that I would probably get egged for because other people don't think so at all. And like my number one is I think that it would be absolutely killer if Sabaton opened in the US because they're a bit too big, I think, to do like an opening slot in Europe because they're playing some of the same size venues.
But they could use the exposure in the US.
Over here they could use the exposure. They're big Iron Maiden fans themselves. I feel like they're clearly like inspired by Maiden's stage set with theirs.
It would be a dream come true for them.
Yeah, I feel like it would be a dream come true for them. It would be a dream come true for me because I love Sabaton too.
Another band that I think would be a really good opener for Maiden would be Amon Amarth.
Yes, absolutely.
And I know Amon Amarth is, I think they're bigger in the US than Sabaton is.
Yeah.
But I feel like they mesh really well. And again, Amon Amarth are massive Iron Maiden fans.
Yeah, I mean, their Pursuit of Vikings, I think it was called, documentary, they like had video at an Iron Maiden show, like where they all attended.
And I feel like they match in a way that, it's all based on melody. It's melodic, and they're kind of in the way that Iron Maiden brought in new metal fans to the metal world. Like Amon Amarth does that, but with harsh vocals. Like this kind of the first band you like with harsh vocals. Yeah. So I think they would go really well together. Don't know if it'll ever happen.
Yeah. But it's like, it's all subjective. Like, there's a whole thread on the forum of like what bands people would like to see, and half of them I'm just like, no thank you, you know? Like, I would not want to see half the bands people listed on there.
All right, what's like an obscure band that you think would be crazy and awesome if they opened for Maiden on a tour?
Skeleton Witch.
That would be so cool. I'm gonna go with Necrogoblicon.
He's been listening to them so much lately. I'm like, what randomly got you into Necrogoblicon? He's like, they're fucking awesome. I'm like, all right, I guess I can't argue with that.
They're awesome.
So yeah, that's like our thoughts on the two openers. Not really excited, not really angry. It's just, I'm there for Maiden.
We've seen it before.
So there's always going to be something in the way between me and Iron Maiden, and I'm going to have to get through it. I'd rather it be something that's normal flavor than something like Kill Switch that I really don't want to sit through.
Something in the way other than the 45 photographers getting through the first song.
The first 3 songs. They're always there for the first 3 songs.
Can we just do one song? Like,
I'm saying.
Get out of the way.
But yeah, anyways, like, what bands would you guys prefer to see, and what are your thoughts on these openers? I know a lot of people have been like really angry about it. I don't know why.
What's the point of being angry? You're there to see
why.
Maiden.
You already got the tickets, so like you're gonna
see
be there.
Play
but yeah,
Somewhere in Time stuff.
Yeah.
So just be happy.
As long as we get Somewhere in Time and The Parchment.
And Alexander for me.
Those 2 are my main 2, where it's like, I think that they're gonna play them, and if they don't, I'll be very mad.
Yes. Not to make this video too long, but I will say that if you watched our other speculation video, I've come around on. I was arguing that Heaven Can Wait has to be played, but the reason I'm changing to Steph's idea of Sea of Madness is simply because there's not enough time.
That was my main
There's
point.
so many long songs that I think they're going to play that I feel like they have to pick one of the shortest songs on Somewhere in Time. And they played that one before, so I'm changing that.
You were trying to argue with me that they weren't going to play The Parchment. Like, you think that there's a possibility.
No, I didn't.
Who was? Somebody was trying to argue with me that they weren't going to play The Parchment.
I don't argue with you that they're going to play it. I say out of all the songs we think they're going to play, I think that could be the one that's like, maybe they don't.
But my argument with that is that it is such a slow tempo song, and I think for this set list they are going to need a slower tempo song that's nice. That's 12 minutes long. It's 12 minutes of a nice slower tempo so they can all fucking calm down after playing Caught Somewhere in Time and Stranger in a Strange Land.
And then what are we going to hear from the guy behind us? This song is so long.
I hate this song. They need to play more old stuff.
Well, get ready, buddy.
So, yeah. So, like I said, let us know your thoughts down below. I always love reading everybody's speculation, what you do and don't like about what Maiden does, and their openers, and everything like that. I'm just like, I'm a nerd, so I like reading what other nerds have to say. So yeah, that's our thoughts on the situation.
Yeah, and on another note, the new issue of the Iron Maiden fan club has just been released, and Steph was lucky enough to do a new article for the new magazine, which is cool.
Yeah, I wrote for the last 2 now, and this issue is like really great. Like, over the last couple years there hasn't been a lot going on with Maiden, so the issues were just like whatever they could get, whatever they could put together. But this one, I have to say, is like really good. There's an interview with Brendan Small in there, which is ironic because I've been on like quite a Brendan Small kick lately.
Me too.
I've really been listening to Galacticon a lot lately.
I've been listening to Death Album 2 a lot.
Yeah, and so it's been Galacticon mostly for me, and then when I'm with you, obviously you're playing a lot of Death Clock, and so that's in there. And he mentioned how he's like in the process of writing the next Metalocalypse movie and working on that. So that's like can't wait.
Good news.
Can't wait for that. There's an interview with Michael Kenny, who was Steve's bass tech and part of the road crew for a really
like
long
40
time.
years.
Yeah. So he just retired, and Alex did an interview with him. I thought it was really great. And then Shaki, he did his tour diary, and it was all through Brazil. So that was really cool to read. I know you haven't read it yet, but all that stuff.
I'm gonna get
I've
through
only
it.
got about halfway through. I still have like the last half to read, but you kind of want to savor it while you can, because they don't come out too often. But yeah, it's a really great issue. So if you're part of the fan club, you can read it online right now, and then it's going to be available. There's a limited amount that'll be available for purchase at some point. I'm sure they'll email about it, but yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah, so anyways, that's all we've got today. I don't know, this could possibly be the last video of the year, so if it is, I'd like to wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate,
Kwanzaa.
Happy New Year, and if we don't see you before the New Year, yeah, we'll see you somewhere in 2023.
Somewhere
Somewhere
in time.
in time.